GamingNight. Tonight we're going to be talking about Arabian Nights, and first we're going to go into components. Nights is the nice board here, and in the board you're going to have all these different locations. Like everyone starts out at Baghdad, and you have city icons, you have the mountains, the forests, the islands, the seas. Now the way the game works is, depending on your location, you're going to have numbers on here, which that is a number you're going to add to encounters to determine what kind of encounters you have. But we're going to go into that detail more into how to play the game. You get this nice board here, and this is basically decide what turns, how the turn order works. It's variable skills in the game, so you know what all the skills are, so when you decide to pick one, pick them. Then you have the encounter reference chart. Now there's A through O, and depending on which situation you're running across, it'll give you certain choices. So it's like a choose your own adventure game, but it's got a lot more choices rather than just open a door or walk away. You have a lot of options. Austin, you have these the characters from all the tales, like you got your Aladdin, you got your Alibaba, and you got your Sforza Dizay, whatever you pronounce her name. And you have all the different characters. They all have a background story in the game, so they all fit well with the Tales of Arabia. This is basically how you win the game, is you accomplish your goals and in the beginning, you're going to decide how many story points you want to have and how many destiny points you have. Now on the tracker here, you're going to each have a little token that is in this giant bag here, and you're going to place it at the story location in Destiny, and you're going to secretly decide how many points. You have 20 points to spend, and it can be in any amount. You can put 0 and 1 and maximum in the other one, but the only thing is you have to have 20 in it. So it's something, it's your secret goal, so the other players don't know what you're going for. Okay, and then you have the big old thing of skills, and they're all swordsmen. They have two sides to them. They have the mastered, which is the looks like a little flower, and then a talent side, which is like a little square, sort of. And that's important in the game. So now we're going to go into the nice big component of the game, and it's the giant book of tales. This thing is 300 pages long, chock full of paragraphs in the game that you can have. But the first thing you're always going to do when you start the game is you're going to get a paragraph chart to read from. Each one of these charts corresponds to an encounter card you have, and they're going to tell you what kind of encounters are possible. So once you get that idea, it'll tell you the other players which chart to read from. So if you're in, they say read C matrix A, you're going to look at the descriptive word. If it says you're a beautiful encounter, then you're going to look at that line, and it's going to tell you which page in the Book of Tales you're possibly going to go to based on the decision you make. Now, you're going to have the name of the encounter, and this is depending on this one particularly has morning, noon, and night. In the game, you're going to have these tokens that get set on the cards, and once you run out of cards, you basically will then turn to the next thing. And then once it gets to night, it stays at night. And as you progress, the encounters get more dangerous as it goes from morning to night. So they want you to kind of build up your characters. So basically, this one's saying you're going to turn a paragraph. The first few pages where they have charts. It'll be chart 97 you're going to read from, and then you're going to roll this dice here. And if you get a 2, you're going to take that number 2, and that's going to be the number in that chart that the encounter is going to be. And then it'll give you the encounter type and stuff, and that's how that one works. This one depends on is a volcano. Now this not always going to be a volcano. If you're depending on where you're at in the game, this N here means you're going to see the reaction matrix chart on N on it. This one means it's a city, and they're going to have to basically go to pay the 24 chart. So each one of these has their own individual sections on it. So you're not always going to get the encounter that says on the card. And the last but not least of the encounter types is this is the city encounter. You're going to get this card, you're going to go to that matrix number, and you're going to, of course, roll the die and determine where you're going to go. But once your encounter is done, once it's all done, you can put this card in your hand, and when you get to the city that's named on the top, you can play that card, and you can roll a dice and get one of those things can happen to you, or it could be a benefit as cards. And the status cards basically are going to be given to you during the story in different paragraphs and the choices you make. For example, this one's insane, and this will basically make your player have no choice but to do what the other players tell them. So you're going to basically name another player, and they're going to basically be your master and tell you basically what happens to you. So you're not going to have any control of your character, they're going to have. And there's a whole bunch of different ones. There's some that just basically hurt you, prevent you from doing certain options in the game. There's some that will basically tell you, like envious will only tell you, whoa, you can only rob from someone until you get rid of that. So it's really, some of these cards can be really nasty. The way these treasure cards work is some of them will now just be a treasure you gain and to use, but some of them basically, like the 100 keys, in the game you're going to have situations come up where they say if you have the keys you could do certain things, like get certain treasures or unlock certain doors, and that can lead to alternate encounters. Now you'll notice the number up here, and this is how many points it's worth in treasure if you go to a city and sell it. So you can basically go to the city and decide to sell it instead of using it for the ability or whatever it gives you. However, at the bottom of the card it says maximum wealth value is poor. So if you're already at poor and you try to spend this to get wealth points in the game, you're not going to. It's going to just give you nothing. So the game basically will have situations where it'll say maximum something and you can't do that anymore. So it basically is preventing you from just moving up in the chart and trying to max out your wealth. You roll one of these dice and you add that to the counter on the board you're on. So if you're on an island and it says a number 2 and a little jewel, you're going to add that die roll to this number, and that's going to be the chart you're going to refer to. The players are going to go in the reaction matrix. So those are those, and this basically tells you if you're going to stay in the same paragraph that you originally were. You're going to go up +1. So you're going to go up up to the next paragraph up. You're going to go below the paragraph, or if you get nothing, you're going to stay in that paragraph. Now, the exception to that rule is if you have a mastered skill, in, say, weapon use. You could say, I want to use that instead of sticking with the chapter I originally have. But sometimes it's a bad thing, but it allows you to have some control over your destiny. Last but not least are quest cards. Quest cards basically, each player gets one of these and they have requirements on them, like the story of stories, and you have to, once you complete them, or if they're lost for whatever reason, you can't accomplish, you'll get another one of these cards. I mean, this game's chock full of stuff, which I'm going to cover that in the how to play category.